Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Linda Plants for You. Today we're going to do an update on my very sad looking curly lipstick. This plant, I've had so many ups and downs with this, I don't even know where to start. But the last thing that happened with this was the thrips issue, where I almost lost the whole plant. This plant was huge at one time, and if you go back and look at my older videos, you'll see it in a couple of them, and you'll see what I'm talking about as far as the difference between then and now, the before and after. In this case, the after is worse than the before. So but I just want to say a couple things before I get started here. This plant is from Asia, and it does like humidity, but it will do okay without it. It likes bright indirect light, and it will live in not so great conditions, you know, a little more shady area. But if you want this plant to get big and be in its full glory, you really need to find the absolute perfect conditions for it, which is probably what makes it such a difficult plant to deal with. My frustration with this plant has been twofold. One is that the leaves don't seem to be as big as the ones that I see all over the internet. Well, I shouldn't say all over. There's very little information on the internet about these plants. But when I was researching it again, I found that there's quite a few, 6, 7 different kinds of variegated curly lipstick plant, also known as twisted lipstick. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with my plant. I think this is one of the variations that has the smaller leaves, which is fine. I was glad that I came across that, because I thought I was doing something wrong, but it wasn't me for a change. Okay, so the thing I'm going to do here is, and part of my problem is I'm really running out of room. My plants have grown so much this past summer. I don't think I've ever experienced plant growth like I did this last year, and I'm not sure what's creating that atmosphere that they love so much, or what it is. But boy, oh boy, I've had a hard time keeping up. It seems like I've been repotting all summer, and I'm not near being close to done, which I want to finish before winter sets in. I'm really looking forward to just enjoying my plants and putzing with them and watering them, and removing a dead leaf here and there, as opposed to the whirlwind that I seem to be going through here with everything. So okay, without any more delay here, let's just get into it. Okay, I want to get at the issue. Now, a while ago, I have a big pot behind me. I'm going to show you guys at the end here. That was full and gorgeous, and I had started to take cuttings, but the cuttings weren't doing well. And one of my wonderful viewers, and I'm so sorry I don't remember your name, but I'm sure you'll know who you are. One of my great viewers said to me, try taking shorter cuttings. So I did. And this was the first experiment. So I took cuttings, I don't know, whatever that comes to, about 4 inches maybe. And I got some really nice growth. Now, this is over months. So, some people might consider that quick growth. Personally, I think I was very happy with the growth that I got. And you'll see here too some more. So I did get some really nice growth out of those shorter cuttings. This one is huge. But again, as you can see, the leaves are not very curly. They lost their variegation. and I'm just really not happy with the way these are looking, but I'm not giving up. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to plant these all back into one pot and see what happens. But I want to show you the result of what I did do and what happened and didn't happen. Now, when I'm showing you this, friends, please remember that unfortunately, I am not able to be as consistent as I would like to be with my plants due to health reasons. And if I could be, some of these things that I'm going to talk about today wouldn't have happened or taken place. But they did, and it is what it is, and it's my life, and I got to deal with it. So I'm going to do the best that I can with what I have to work with, and that, that has to be enough. So one of the problems is, now I had all three of these in the same place. This one, I rooted in soil, and this one I rooted in water, and this one I rooted in perlite. And judging by the color, I'm wondering if the perlite wasn't the best option. I don't know. Now, this is also, when you get that really deep dark purple, that's also a sign of stress. So, and that's like with other plants too. I find that like with the Ripsalis family. If you want those deep dark reds and burgundies, you have to withhold some water, and they need to be in direct sunlight, and then you'll get those colors. And some people call it stress, stressing out the plant. I hate to refer to it that way because I don't want to feel like I'm hurting the plant. But if that's the condition under which they're used to growing, I don't know why it's considered stressing the plant. But at any rate, that is what it is. So, okay, so let's start with, why don't we just start right away with get the pot ready here and always start with a clean pot. You know me, I'm a real stickler about that. I'm almost too fanatical about it. I cannot put plants in a dirty pot or a used pot. Now there is some staining on here, and that's not going to come out. That's just from years of use, as on the outside. And actually, I truly love the patina on this one. It's aging very nicely, and I love the color. But it's clean. There's no white residue. There's no fungus. There's no nothing growing on the terracotta. So I'm very happy with that. Now I'm going to stick a little piece of paper towel in the bottom here because I need to cover that hole, because thank goodness they're finally putting some decent sized drainage holes in our pots nowadays, and that's wonderful. But initially we have to cover them with something, otherwise the soil all just runs through and runs out the other end. Now I'm filling this pot with soil mixture that I get from Fleet and Farm. And I don't think those are nationwide, so I don't know where I would tell you to go. I don't know what other stores carry it. I know other stores do, but I just don't know which ones. This is Leapfrog soil, or Happy Frog. And I love this stuff. It's got a lot of charcoal in it. A lot of natural ingredients. Oops. There we go. That's better. Get water all over. I'm watering this down because the soil is very, very dry. I haven't used it in a while. And it's okay. I let it dry out like that on purpose because then I don't have to worry about fungus gnats and other pests that, and actually most pets really love that wet, damp soil. So having wet, damp soil around the house is not a good thing. And I know some of our plants require that, and that's enough, but I'm not going to add to that. Alright. I think I'm going to leave these for last. Those are going to have to go on the outside. Let's start with this one, because this has got the least amount of good specimens in there. I think I'm just going to grab some new paper towels here because this is quite wet. Okay. I'm going to just squeeze the pot like we normally do. Take out the old soil and see what we have here. Now these, as you can see, they're crispy dead. And like I said, I had all of these in the same place, but I think what happened is I didn't get the water. I didn't get it watered quick enough, which that's not hard for me to do. I have this in my laundry room, which is in the back of the house, and my least favorite place to have to get to. This, I don't think, I'm not even sure if this is worth saving. But we'll try. It does have some good growth on it, so I think we're gonna try that one. Oh, and that would make me really, really sad if I didn't have other pieces left here to choose from. Okay, now this one is the one that I put in perlite, and get this out of the way. I'm going to just pull these out of here. Try not to make a mess. I do see some roots. Not very big ones, but there are roots there nevertheless. So. And again, it could very well be that I let it get too dry in between adding water. Oh, here's a good specimen. Now this one's got a good chunk of roots. And you're looking at the perlite that's sticking to the roots. But, you know, since these do also root in soil, even if there's just a little bit, like on this one, I'm still going to stick that in the soil, because I want to be done with this now. I have some other plants that I need to root as well, and I love this little container. I think it's just so cute. Here's more. And one more. Okay. And the key to this was to keep this moist. Now I'm feeling it right now and it feels dry on the top, but I added water to this pretty frequently, so I'm not sure how that happened with the perlite, but apparently that sun was a lot hotter than I thought it was. So, I don't know. I'm going to set these over here so hopefully you can see. Got my little skewer. And I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. Got a lot of festivals here in Wisconsin, our lakefront festivals, Festa Italiana and Polish Fest and Indian Fest and Black Fest and Italian Fest and German Fest and I don't know what all, but we have a lot. Summerfest was the original, and so we just call it the Summerfest grounds, and it's an area on our lakefront, Lake Michigan, that is the host for all of these festivals. And years ago I used to do Italian Fest. It was a lot of fun. Oh, and they had the best fireworks. Oh, I love fireworks. So this year, right now the state fair, the Wisconsin State Fair is happening. Actually, I think it was the 5th through the 15th, so we're not quite at the end of that yet. And then I think the weekend that ends is when the summer fest starts, and we get a lot of really big name entertainers for the amphitheater. So if you like that sort of thing, and this is the place to be in the summer, I'll tell you, because we get a lot of people coming from all over the country to attend these things, and those of us that grew up here don't appreciate it because, you know, since I was it opened when I was in high school, so, and it's been around all that time. So you forget that it's not all over the country. You just kind of take it for granted. But it's that guy just don't want to stand up. I don't know why. Come on, please. Oh, well, that would be why. I'm trying to bend his poor little leg in the wrong direction. I think I'll cut that off. Should I? I'll have to do it right here, because that's where the root is. It's right there. So I'm gonna try and just There we go. Much better. Now what was I saying? Oh yeah, the festivals. Yeah. And they dress up in their country's garb or whatever you would call it. Food and rides, and it's really quite a thing to see if you've never been to it and you're near the area. It's really interesting. We used to go down there every year for Summerfest, and like I said, I worked at Festa Italiana. I did that for, I think, I want to say it was 3 summers in a row. 2 or 3. It was fun. Except for one year when a friend of mine, the one that asked me to come and help, her husband started this tradition of, if you worked there, you had to eat a oyster. You had to swallow a raw oyster. Well, yeah, yuck. I tried. I did it, but oh boy. That was not fun. It was really gross, to be honest. Really gross. Alright, what do we got going on here? Boy, I don't see any roots on the water ones. Look at that. That's disappointing. So you know what? We're going to take them out of the water and we're going to put them in soil, because these did good in soil. Right? I see no reason to wait any longer. I think it's time. And I think we all know how difficult it can be to when you've got a lot of cuttings all over the place that you're trying to keep from drying out. At least for me. Because established plants, you know, they can handle a little neglect, but when you're dealing with cuttings, you really have to be on top of them. Because if their roots are just starting to form, and you forget or don't have time or aren't able to water them, and they're drying out, then that starts the process all over again. So it's I don't know, maybe it's just that these were too long. Could be. Well, you know, the main thing is that I still have live plants here, that I haven't lost them all. I'm still hopeful that I can bring this plant back to its original glory. And I have done it in the past. I am capable in most cases. I'm not always successful, but I have pretty good luck, and I get a determination in me that just won't quit sometimes, and others have to say when it's done, you know, it's done. But sometimes even when there's no life left, or it seems like there's no life left, you can suddenly have a miracle. So where there's life, there's hope, right? And I mean, these leaves are very, the leaves themselves are very healthy, so and you're not even in the camera here again. Ay, 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 I'm so sorry. Well, that little tool I'm using, by the way, is called an X-Acto knife. I've had it for many years. I was using it for something the other day, or I came across it when I was cleaning out my plant toolbox, and it comes in pretty handy. Yeah, I think some of these are just too long. Now when I get done with this, I am going to put her on a table that's right in front of me that I can keep a very close watch, which is really what I always have to do when I'm trying to revive a plant from cuttings. I can't put them in the laundry room anymore because I forget about them. I forget to check on them. I forget to water them. Or if I remember and that's the day I'm having a lot of trouble and I can't get back there. Now, what I'm wondering is, should I keep that one? Why not? There's a few good leaves on her. What I'm wondering is if I should put these long ones in here. I almost hate to disturb them because they're doing so well, but I mean, who wants just 3? I don't just want a plant with 3 strands, so I think what the heck. Let's do it. Should we? Should we add them to this pot? I think we should. So then they'll all be in one pot. Yeah, let's do that. Right. Once again, I'm going to squeeze the pot and take them out. Okay. You see the clumps of roots? They're doing wonderful, aren't they? They each have their own set of roots that are, they're pretty hardy. That's one. one stalk. So I think my hesitation is coming from the fact that these are going to be laying on the table when they should really be in a hanging basket, but it's alright. I'll put it on the end of the table so that they can drape down over the sides maybe. We'll figure it out somehow. Or I can put it on I can put this pot up on a pedestal so that it gives it a little more room, so it's a little higher. Alright, I'm going to need something a little wider here to make room for these roots. And I really hope I'm not making a mistake here by doing this, but I guess I won't know unless I try. Okay, that's one. Put the other one right here. I'm definitely going to have to keep a close eye on this whole pot. Boy, oh boy. Keep your fingers crossed for me, friends, because I'll be really sad if I lose these, since I had such good luck propagating them. It'd be a shame to lose them now, that's for sure. Hopefully that won't happen. And one more. I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting it all the way down in there. There we go. Okay, and we're going to add a little more fresh soil. A little more all the way around. And then I'm going to give her another good drink and let her settle here for a little bit, and then I'll put her over on the table in the living room where I can keep a close eye on her. There's something about plants that They will let you know when they're in trouble, most of them. I will say I have one that is, she's a little diva. My purple waffle plant. I'm telling you, that plant, she can be perfectly, leaves are shiny, glossy, she's healthy looking, the leaves are perky, and she looks great. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I haven't watered her, and I probably should give her some water. But she's doing okay. I don't want to overwater her, so I just walk away, leave it alone. And lo and behold, the next morning I get up, and looks like she's dead, completely dead. All her leaves are hanging flat. They're not hanging. They're laying flat in the pot on top of the soil. They're dull. I just shake my head at her. It's like, what? What is going on with you? Could have at least gave me a little warning. Very, very dramatic. Like I said, she goes from being perfectly fine to she's dead. Well, she's not dead, but she looks like she's dead. Once in a great while, I'll catch her. It depends on when she decides to take her dive. If she does it in the middle of the night, I don't catch it. But if she does it late in the evening, which sometimes she does, I will catch it. One night I was in my electric chair, and I was already settled in for the night, and my hubby was getting ready to go to bed, and I said, oh man, I said, can you please do me a favor and just throw a little bit of water in that plant? And he said, sure, which one? And I pointed it out, and so he did, and we avoided the big collapse. But had I not noticed that there was something not quite right, that would have been a morning where I wake up and she was completely done. So that plant, yeah, but most plants will, if you see them on a daily basis, you'll start to notice when they're just starting to let you know that, hey, I'm getting ready to need a drink here. I should mention my daughter, out of fear of overwatering, I guess, I'm not sure what created her to do this, but she shared with me last week that, well, let me back up. Both my husband and I noticed that my daughter's plants were getting to be out of this world beautiful. She's doing such a fantastic job. I wish I could come over there and do a plant tour of her plants, and maybe I will one of these days. But her plants were just taking off like crazy. They're like quadrupled in size and very healthy and what have you. And we're like, what's going on with you? Your plants are looking so great. Well, she said one of the things that she's doing is instead of trying to figure out what each plant needs individually, she just started giving them each a little bit of water all the time. So they're never really completely dry, but they're never overwatered either. And it's working. And if I remember correctly, I think the Tropical Plant Addict waters that way. I'm going to have to go back and check for sure. I don't want to misspeak, so please note I'm saying I think. But I'm pretty sure that maybe even a year or two ago, I saw her do that. She was doing a video just on watering her and taking care of her plants. And she said something about that. And I noticed that she wasn't putting, when she watered each plant, I was like, oh, that's all you're going to, I'm thinking to myself, oh, is that all you're going to give it? And then she said something about that. So she might be one of those people like my daughter that just, they're more comfortable with just doing a little water each time on every plant, every whatever, so many days. You know, and again, whatever works for you, right? I mean, our atmospheres are all different, our homes are different, our water's different, our lighting is different. So if you're having trouble with your plants, maybe you want to try that method. There is no one perfect way to take care of houseplants. So for those of you that are new plant moms and dads, don't be so hard on yourself. We've all been down that road, and still are, to be honest with you. I still lose plants once in a while. It just happens. And if somebody told me that they never had a plant die on them, I wouldn't believe it, honestly. So don't be so hard on yourself. Just do what's comfortable. Get yourself into a routine that works for you and that's comfortable for you. That's the main thing, because you can try and follow other people and follow their advice, but if it's not going to work for you in the future, then there's no point, because you're not going to keep up with it. So just try and do the best you can with your, situation, your routine, what have you. Oop. I think we can stick that one in there. And call it a day, and don't worry about what other people are doing. Now, that being said, I know that sometimes we're trying to figure out what's going on with our plants, so we go to other people for advice, and oftentimes we go to YouTube to see what other people are doing that's working for them, and that's wonderful. That I do it myself on occasion, but that doesn't mean because it works for them that it's going to work for you. Just keep that in mind. I don't want you to feel bad if you fail, because that's just part of life, not just the plant world. And remember that the most successful people in the world failed many, many times before they were successful. So, all right, enough about my philosophical nonsense here. Okay, I'm going to put a little water here, and I may even have more water than I need right now, but I just want to make sure that all this soil is wet, the new soil that I just added, because I don't want these to dry out. Yep, I think this will be okay. I think what I'll do is I'll put this pot on one of my, I have a number of pedestals that I use. I started collecting old candle holders, and I use those to elevate my plants into, different heights, so that they could all receive the maximum light. And I notice a lot of people are doing that now, so I think I started a trend, but that's okay. Whatever works. I'm happy that I could give other people ideas. But yeah, I've been doing that for many, many years, and it works out well. So, okay. What do you think, folks? Is it good? Is she going to make it? I hope so. I truly hope so. All right. Okay. My battery went dead on my phone. That's never happened to me. So I'm back for 1 second just to show you the finished product. I think she looks very pretty. I think she's going to make it after all. And wish me luck. And I'll be back. Thank you all for coming. Bye now.